let's start this. Okay, we should be live now with new microphone receiver. Let's see if that's any better. Couldn't get the other one to work, so tried the spare in the cupboard, so it seems to be okay. Although the LED doesn't work on the receiver, so I can't actually tell whether it's receiving or not. I have to test it, but never mind. So welcome, we've got a bit of a different camera setup this evening. Oh, hi Ricky, how's it going? So we are revisiting yet again for one final time this 600XL. I thought I would do a very quick video just to follow up on it because it's pretty much ready to go. So I've got the reason I've got the camera mounted in this. Good. I'm glad things are going well. I've got the camera pointed at the screen because I don't have an RGB capture device to capture the VBXE output from this machine. So what I'm gonna do is update the BIOS, and the stream title is wrong again. Yeah. Update the BIOS and just run a few games. Stick a side cartridge in, make sure everything works. Good way of testing it. So we'll have a quick look at the. When I left this one on Friday night, I made the foolish decision to try and wire up the DIN connector on camera. That's not something you'll ever see me try to do again. It's just impossible. I have to have the jeweler's loop or this headgear I've got, because I just can't do it by the naked eye now. So after the stream was finished, I went away and I finished it. Oh, thanks for the hint regarding. Hi, Prodatron. Thanks for the hint regarding the new microphone, says Prodatron. Does it sound okay? It's just really worrying that the LED doesn't work on the receiver. I might have to take it apart and fix that. But the other one was going crazy, so I decided to jump ship. So after the stream was finished, I went away and I soldered this on. As a matter of fact, to be quite honest with you, I took this connector off because when I'd stuck the thing onto the board with the old hot snot, and I'd put too much glue on. So I can move this so you can see it. Very difficult to orientate. Right, there we go. I put that much glue on that when the legs were actually coated in glue, and it was just making a real mess when I was trying to solder them. So I just took the damn thing off, put a new one on, and I had the thing wired up. Yeah, sounds good. I'm searching for such solution too. If you remind me on Facebook or something, Prodatron. Oh, hi Mopes. Hi. Finally caught one of these from the beginning, says Mopes. Yeah, and it's, well, I always say it's not going to be a long stream, but we'll see. If Prodatron, if you mention it in Facebook or something, I'll send you a link to the thing I bought. I've bought two of them now. In fact, I can show you I'll show you the casing on the other one, the spare, because I went in the cupboard and I got the spare receiver. No, don't worry about it. So I always go off topic. This whole series is just a tremendous series of asides. So it's this thing here. You'll see these in different names. I mean, they're real cheap crap. But I mean, for some really decent gear, you're looking at it can get quite expensive if you're going to aim high. The way I look at it, if you're not going to get something good, is get something cheap. And I had some grand ideas about any advertising revenue or any other income from this activity would be ploughed into buying better equipment, but there was never any sufficient revenue. There's been a few general donations and things, but not necessarily specifically to do with YouTube. So that's what I'm using, and I mean they do the job. They're actually better than webcam built-in mics on either of these webcams. They have that. The webcam mics have that kind of telephone feel about them because they're obviously, you know, digitized there and then. So anyway, get back to the point. Yeah, I took this connector off, rewired it. Now, one of the big problems which became we resolved over the weekend, Michael and I, the reason that I was having no luck with this cable was because it was impossible to have any luck with this cable because this is the cable from Cool Novelties, the Scart Cable. The seller Cool Novelties, they have an eBay shop and they have their own website. And Michael St. Pierre had kindly got Cool Novelties to build these cables, and they were. I was under the impression that they were more or less to the wiring plan that I'd come up with. Now, when I started putting VBXEs in these machines, I thought we should have a more or less standardized pinout, and Candle suggested using these DIN connectors, which seemed to me to be an excellent idea. So I decided on a pinout which was broadly similar to the ST, because it's an ST video connector. So we use a pinout that's similar. That wasn't to say necessarily that you could use this, or the one I've got, my personal DIN connector. This is the homemade one that I've got here. Obviously, you can make these going to DB9s at the other end as well, and RCA connectors for your 1084S and whatnot. Well, that wasn't to say that you'd actually use it in ST, because for a start, the ST has to have 150 ohm resistors on the RGB lines. Otherwise it looks too bright. But anyway, Michael really wanted this to work. The 1088 XEL this was all to do with, by the way. This is sold as a 1088 XEL cable. I just happen to use a similar pinout on these machines. So he wanted to change it and make it so it worked with an Atari CRT monitor. He changed a couple of pinouts. I was okay with that, and he didn't think that the current limiting resistors on the RGB lines would make much of a difference to the picture. I got one of these cables, and I said I would test it. The one Michael sent, I said I would test it at some point, and I took that long to get around to testing it. Basically, it was last Friday when I first tested it, and discovered that basically it was never going to work, because there was no connection to the RGB blanking pin on the Scart cable. That had somehow got lost in the mix, and it was connected to composite sync along with the sync pin, and it was just a lot of misunderstandings, and Michael was pretty regretful about it, but it was no big deal. Not many people bought them. It was easily fixed, and the design's been changed now, and it works. So, with that out of the way, we now have a source on eBay, Cool Novelties, of Scart cables for these things, these kinds of machines, and the 1088 XEL, which will work with the out-of-the-box wiring scheme as per the schematic, so everybody happy. So without further ado, anyway, now you've seen the wiring. There's the board all done. This is basically the same condition it was in last Friday. So let's plug it in and let's do what we need to do. I don't have the lid for this machine, so turn it off. Don't have the lid for this machine, so we're going to have to improvise a bit with the keyboard. I do have lids for 600 XLs, but the particular lid I have, the keyboard doesn't work properly, so we're just going to rest the keyboard on top. Plug in my SIO to PC, plug in my Scart cable, plug in my power. We're going to rest this on top of here for some insulation, bump the tripod, and then plug a keyboard in. There we go. Nice keyboard. It's a Mitsumi, I think it is. So balance that on there. Right. So you should be able to see now if I switch over to camera 1. And should we bring in... why have I not got camera... we'll add this camera to this scene, shrink it down a bit. There we go. There we can see everything now. Excellent stuff. Right, so if we power on now, what I'm going to have to do here, I'm not going to be able to see chat for a while because I need to switch inputs on here. I don't have a picture-in-picture on this machine, so I'm going to switch inputs to Scart. I'm going to turn on, and there we go, we're in. It's weird doing this blind. I'm used to being able to see chat in the preview, but we'll just put our trust in the gods. So let's go into the BIOS with the help and reset keys. There we go, there's Uramo setup as we all remember it and fondly. I've already run a good idea with things like this to run XRAM with the maximum RAM configuration, so we know that the RAM works on this machine, so we've already tested that. That's good. So we've got 1088K, stock OS, Sparta-DOS-X is on, stereo disabled, but we don't really know yet whether that actually works or not because it hasn't checked for us, so we'll save that configuration and we'll get this firmware updated before we do anything else. So the firmware, yeah, that's been going on for a long time, development of the new firmware. I think it's just about ready now. If we swing around here, well, I didn't swing the camera around because I can't see where it's going to point. But on the other machine here, we've got Microsoft Word open. We've got the technical APT docs, docs open, which I'm working on, having to update those. But we've got a build of the firmware from a couple of days ago, which will flash to this one. This will be a useful opportunity to see if the upgrade process still works. I hope these batteries still work because I have no idea what's going on. I could actually open chat in this other window. That might be I'll open this on the other machine so I can actually see what's going on. That's a good idea. Live streaming. There we go, now we can see chat, and well, that's good. Nothing else has been said. Excellent. So now you can see well, I can see that you can see. So here we go, we've run UFlash. We're going to go down to firmware. I'm going to hope the firmware file that I put on the drive is still there, and it appears to be. I just pray this is the right one. I normally run SIO to PC. I can't speak SIO to PC at divisor 0, which is 126 kilobits per second, but because this default BIOS, the original BIOS, doesn't have the high-speed I/O built into it, and Sparta-DOS-X is a bit dodgy about divisor 0. We're just using divisor, what divisor are we on now? We're on, well, we're on 3 times SIO, 57,600 kilobits per second. So we've done the verify, we've done the flash. Flash is done already. There we go, that was 64K of firmware. So now, if we go into the BIOS and cross our fingers, we should have the new firmware. Now this is still got all the other content on the ROM is still as it was. So we've got things like the high-speed OS, which we don't really need anymore because it's built in. And if we just go along here, we see we set the clock. And finally, we can set the clock in the BIOS. Hooray! So we go backwards. I usually go backwards here. It's a bit counterintuitive, but there you go. So it's me, John. It's me. Yes, so it is. So it's me. Reminds me of the film Buffalo 66, where he visits his friend in prison, and I think he visits him and he tells him what month it is. His friend never knows what month it is. Tell him, I can't remember the name of the character, tell him it's June. Anyway, I go away from the point. I digress. 2150 GMT. Go. There we go, back a bit. Control and return to step back. And right, it's detected we've got a VBXE, which is excellent. It's detected that we can control the decoding address of the VBXE by toggling this option between three options, which is disabled, D640 and D740. So we'll leave that at the default. It knows we haven't got a soundboard. Now, interestingly enough, it has detected that we have a stereo pokey, which is disabled, but it's grayed it out. Now, what does this tell us? This tells us something that the original BIOS didn't tell us. It tells us that the BIOS doesn't think it is capable of controlling the stereo audio. So we have a problem yet again with this bloody stereo board. So we'll have to look into that. But if avid viewers, observant viewers, will remember a few days ago that I mentioned that this second pokey chip was sending out phantom key presses when it was used as the primary chip without the stereo board. So perhaps it's possible that this second pokey is actually the source of our problem. So we may have to do a swap there and see if it fixes the problem. If it doesn't, we have something else to fix. So we'll go ahead and, well, we'll connect the side cartridge shortly, but we'll go ahead and set this up now. Swap button enabled, boot drive, it was D1, doesn't matter. Config sys, right lock off, hard disk refresh, shift reset. Here's our SIO driver, we'll apply it to disks and PC link. Z driver, it's up to you whether you may not need that. Roy wrote a really nice analog clock which uses the ZCIO driver, and I use that all the time to test it. Here's our system information, if you can see that. If I move this window here so I can see what you see. Can you see that? We can move in a little bit closer, I think. If we go in here, wait for the stream to update this preview, just to see I haven't messed it up. There we go. Right, let's move that a little bit there. That's not too bad. Right, so BIOS is telling us that it's 2018. Well, this was written in 2018. As a release candidate version, we've got the plugin, the BIOS plugin, which is a 1K module, is stereo Covox, which basically emulates the functionality of the original BIOS. Plugin version. Computer is an XLXE, which is correct. 6502C processor. PAL, SICAM, 50 frames a second. That information is split up in case you have a mixture of PAL and NTSC, GTI and ANTIC chips in there. Now, now we can see stereo not present. Now, the number of people when using the original BIOS who were absolutely convinced that their stereo worked, when in fact it didn't, as it does not here, was remarkable. So I think this kind of pays for itself. Well, it's free, but it pays for itself straight away because it tells you that your hardware doesn't work. So probably not what you want to hear, but it's the truth. So cold boot boot logo enabled, ROM flashing enabled, joystick disabled. Yeah, I should really test that again. I'm assuming it still works. Color as you wish, sound, screensaver, there we go. And the other two unused pins. Yep, because M on this plugin, M1 I think is used for Covox. Yeah, but there ain't no Covox, so whatever. Save that to profile 1. We've got 3 profiles now. Now let's power off and let's put the side cartridge in the machine. And let's switch on again. Oh, hang on a minute. Let's take the... Oh, we'll leave it in. We'll do a hot swap. I've still got the SD card adapter in here, which I think Atari sells them, but you can pick them up on eBay for about 10 quid. So here we go. We're booting into Sparta-DOS X with the new firmware. So if we go back in again, and now we can try the loader and see if this works. There we go. Now this is our FC1307SD to CF adapter, version 1.5. And you see the little title scrolls now. See, I've thought of everything. I've thought of everything in terms of user interface design. It's just, there's nothing, no stone has been unturned here. We've got search options, but I'll show you these with a different card that's actually got something on it. So we take that one out and put our trusty compact flash card in, which auto catalogues. Size of the card's now reported on the device menu. We'll go into games here because that's where most of the stuff is. You see some file sizes down here. Oh, you can turn. You don't like them? You don't like the file sizes? Oh, don't worry about it. You can turn them off. Oh yeah, you can turn them right off. File drive size disabled. There you go. Gone. There you are. Gone. No problem. There'll be no complaints about that. I like it on, but you know, turn them off if you want. Anyway, we've got Recursive Search here, which is very much like the cart. I'm not absolutely sure which came first, but anyway, there it is. You can search, constrain the search characters either to the beginning of the file name or anywhere in the file name. So if we, I don't know, if we say contains and we go test, just start typing and it'll pull up anything with test in the name, like so. And if whatever you've pulled up in the search results happens not to be in the root directory, well, it is in the root directory. It'd be nice if we could find something that isn't in the root directory. Anyway, when you click Control and F on it, it opens up the containing directory of what you've found. So let's go to search begins and let's look for YUMP. Let's try that. So we've got the ATR for YUMP and we've got the executable for YUMP. So let's first try the executable and see if this works. I can see chat here. I really have to get one of my VBXE devices installed, says Mopes. Yeah, you should do. Yeah. So let's run YUMP. It's rather quick now because the XEX loader is about 3 times quicker than it was before. So stereo not detected. So we have a problem with stereo, which we should probably sort out before we do anything else. So let's try and pragmatically figure out what's going on with this. So we will move the keyboard and let's have a look and see if, let's go on back onto the HDMI, DVI rather, so I can see what's going on. And let's go on to the other camera view because we're going to fix something, hopefully. We're going to figure out what's going on with it. This thing, one way or another, totally cursed. Oh! Let's have a look at our little cache of chips. And See if we've got a spare pokey before we do anything else. Now this pokey is brand new from Atari, supposedly, so something iffy about it, nevertheless, because why would you spit out the key L? Okay, so here's another pokey chip. Part number 12294B. Yes, there's one. So try this one. Let's give it a try. Mic level's still okay? Oh yeah, they look okay. They look fine. Can I get this out without having to pull everything apart? Okay. I feel really sorry for the owner if this is a bad pokey chip. I mean, one of the things I'm really short of is pokey chips. So if this is a bad pokey chip, Jesus. Just one thing after another. Come on, get in, swine. The trouble with these precision sockets, they're really nice, but my God, they're fussy. Right, that side's in, front's in. There we go. There we go. Right, it's in. Okay, so back to Scart. I could just plug this into the capture card actually. Why don't I do that? Yeah, why don't I do that? Yeah. So if we plug wait a minute. And here. And this, what the hell have I just plugged? Jesus Christ. I've just unplugged the audio from the PC. Hell's bells. Alright. Put that back in. Right. How is the... the sound's already plugged in, so alright, and then here. Okay, so if we go to S-Video and turn it on, we should get a picture. No, we haven't, because we haven't plugged the S-Video cable into the other end of the... Where the hell is that? There it is. Plug this in here. There we go. Oh, Jesus. Red screen? Just because I... Wow. Well, that pokey chip doesn't seem to be flavour of the month. So... let's take it back out. Most interesting. Red screen. This machine is just so full of wonderful surprises. Where'd I put the other chip? Where'd I put the other chip? There it is. Curious. Let's try the Scart lead again. See if this works. It does not. Yeah, officially cursed, this one. Officially cursed. So you take one pokey chip out, put another one in, and it's dead. Yep, this machine is cursed. It's just an experience in just misery and humiliation. Let's try and put this in here. Eliminate pokey from the equation entirely. Switch on. Oh my god, this is hilarious. Absolutely hilarious. Let's put the side back in and see what happens. Ah, red screen. I wonder if VBXE got knocked. What did I say about a quick stream? Now what's going on with this thing? What's going on with you? Ah, did we get a sign of activity there for a moment? Hang on a minute. It lived, says Mopes. Yeah. I don't know. This is just what is that? 4 videos of just abject misery in a row. How is the MMU cable do Ultimate 1 megabyte? Yeah, it's probably going to be something like that, isn't it? Probably going to be something like that. These are the things that show up in testing, and this has been shortened, so you're absolutely right to suggest something along those lines. But I kind of hoped there wasn't going to be any teething problems with it, because I just wanted to demo the machine, you know. So I almost wonder, it's almost, the thing is, not much got moved there, and it's been powered on several times over the past few days, and now it's just spontaneously poof. It's really odd. I wonder why this could be. It just seems a bit strange that it's suddenly gone like that. I'm just feeling for any heat here. I wonder if we swap. I have a funny feeling. Well, it did intermittently work, didn't it? So that it's not. We know it's not a flash ROM issue. Yeah, it's not a flash ROM issue. Could be base RAM even. It's possible. Let's see if our trusty friend that was just the mic pack falling off. Let's see if our trusty friend SysCheck is able to help. Right, it's back on. It might at least tell us if we've got... Yeah, are we back? Yeah, audio's back. Sorry about that, the mic pack fell off my belt. Right, let's try this for a moment. Right, no output from SysCheck. This is interesting. I think we've got a dead CPU or something here all of a sudden. Unless there's, Mopes pointed out, there's a short in one of the cables. But it just seems a bit weird. But we've got sockets, so let's have a look. Let's do some live troubleshoot. And then afterwards I'll go and sit in a darkened room. We've got any spare antics here with all the legs. There's one here with all of the legs but one's bent. Let's see if we can straighten it out. Ah no, it's fell off. Alright, next. Missing a leg. 21698, missing the leg. What the hell happened to these chips? Let's just try that CPU's marked Duff. Let's try this one. I had that on the machine I was attempting to repair, ended up being the machine couldn't read the carport. Yeah, I was reading that thread, that post you made about that machine. You eventually got rid of it, didn't you? Thought the guy was in a super hurry. He asked for the machine back and then promptly put it on eBay 2 days later. That's weird, because you were asking if anybody has it and it gets fixed. You wanted to know, you'd like to know what happened with it. Oh, hi, drop check. Check the plug going into the MMU socket on the motherboard. I thought I saw a blip when you caressed around the card guard. Oh, okay, let's do that. I definitely saw a blip, but I couldn't remember for the life of me what had caused it. So let's have a look. Press down on there. Press down on here. It's always worth a try. I hate these cables, but let's try a quick CPU swap, just in case we've had a spontaneous death. Oh, hi Herb. Glad I got to say hi before you finished. Late to the party though, looks like I have to watch from the beginning later. Hey, this could go on for another 3 or 4 hours yet. Quite easily. Just eliminate a couple of things. Yeah, it's not a CPU. Do I have a spare antic which we can try? It was just so sudden. But why? Yeah, well, nah, it's not going to be a dead CPU. It's going to be the cable. You're absolutely right. Let's try and take the cable off and see if that makes any difference when we put it back again. This is going to be a most common cause of issues with Ultimate. Not so much if you probably use the cables the way they're provided, but I always shorten them because they just don't fit nicely otherwise. So that probably increases the risk of some sort of a problem. But the thing with the cartridge not working on that machine, as soon as I read it, it reminded me of a problem I'd seen on another 800XL years ago. That it might have been the MMU itself. I don't know what happened with that. I'd almost suspect a bad socket connection. The issue seemed to happen immediately after the motherboard was flex changing pokey. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, let's take the board out of the case and have a bit of a feel around. And nice to know that even when this is fixed, we've still got to figure out what's wrong with that pokey chip. What it is about 600XLs, I had all that trouble with the one that I fixed the other week, that had sat in the drawer for about 5 years, dead. And I've had a few that have just come in where the owner said that they're just dead for no apparent reason. The fact that there's a lot of sockets on them is probably a good thing, but of course it's increased possibility of a broken socket if you take the chip out the wrong way or something. But we'll see. Let's have a little look around. I changed every Atari chip on that board, including the MMU. Only things I did not swap was 74LS chips. What happened with the cartridges? Did the cartridges just not get recognized, or did they, or what? I'm assuming that's what happened. Right, let's have a look. We've got these two jumper wires here, which were unavoidable. Let's try and reseat things and see if it'll run when it's on the table. This might prove illuminating in some way. AVR light flashed, and now we have a boot. It acted like nothing was inserted, and I ruled out physical contact issues. So what is going on with this? That's really strange. There's something about the bottom case that's pushing on something underneath here. I'll try and flex the board a bit and see if this flex idea has any legs. I did do a flex test on this the other day and it was fine, so what the hell is going on? Okay, no problem pushing on chips, flex the board. Because after fixing the machine by flexing the board and figuring out where the fault was, it's one of the first things I do when I put one of these things together, is give it a bit of a twist and make sure it's okay. So I think there's something about when the machine's in the case. Let's have a look and see any protrusions that might be. I mean, we've got these two wires here, they seem to be stable enough. There's nothing on here that's moving around. We've got this plastic brace at the back here. We've got some screws, but they're not going to hit anything that they shouldn't. So what about this one here? We've got a screw. We've got a pylon here which is going to hit this chroma or luma, I forget which. So let's have a little check there. Oh, good night, Ricky. See you on the flip side when I get okay, see you then. Right, let's pop it back in the case again and see what's what. But obviously stuff like this needs to be resolved before the machine goes away, so it's yeah, lots of fun. So now we're booting again. Okay, so let's while we've got the keyboard off, let's have a little look and see if we can maybe even replicate the original problem. And we're going to boot again. Now we're booting again consistently. Odd. Gremlins, says Joe. Oh, Gremlins! This you have no idea. This machine. I mean, I had a load of pretty smooth builds of a similar nature to this one last year, and then this one has just been, oh, it's just beset with niggles and things. Okay, so we're going to need the keyboard to see if this pokey's working again. Oh well, thanks for that machine. Thanks 600XL for wasting about 25 minutes by not powering up. Right, let's try again. Straight in here. See, it works like a dream now. Right, so we got... Aha! Aha! Interesting. Can you spot the difference? Apart from the fact that this isn't RGB video, of course. But we have stereo pokey is illuminated and active. So this is the pokey chip that was sent in, that was purchased along with the stereo board, and I'm afraid it's bad. So not only did it produce phantom L key presses when I tried it in the primary position, but it actually doesn't work at all. So that is for the scrap heap, unfortunately. So we're going to have to provide the owner with a pokey chip, which is something I didn't want to do because I am nearly out of them. So yeah, this is just, it's the gift that keeps on giving, this machine, let's put it that way. The gift that keeps on giving. So it's going to cost the owner more, and it's cost me just an unimaginable amount of wasted time. I'm going to write on this just so that I don't get it mixed up, and I get a pen, and then I'm going to mark it bad pokey chip. If I can find a pen. There it is. Well, now right, so put that to one side. It's bad pokey chip. I mean, you know, I don't want the person to have to pay more, and I'd rather keep the spare pokey chip, put it that way. It's really annoying. Hopefully you can send it back and get another one. So Lethargic, bad pokey chip. It didn't look in the best condition anyway, actually, but never mind. So that's fixed that problem. Now I wonder if this bad pokey chip had really done something that might explain. Yeah, bear with me, I'm reaching at straws here. But I wonder if it had done something that might explain that weird spontaneous death we saw before, because it seems to be working quite well now. So we go back in and let's the stock video on this machine isn't that bad, really, not too bad. So let's run Yump again, and a PAL version. Stereo not detected. I don't think I turned it on, did I? Did I turn it on? I don't think I did. No, I didn't turn it on. So we turn stereo on first. Save that, go to the loader. See, it's working brilliantly now, but when you've seen it die like that, obviously it shakes your confidence considerably. You just wonder if there's something going on. So stereo detected. Excellent. That's good. So let's switch back to RGB. We'll switch back to RGB and we'll do a VBXE test, I think. Plug RGB in, always helps. There we go. Right, back to the loader. So yeah, this is the brand new software. This is what you're going to get. Is it old? Yeah, old VBXE. Let's run this, make sure the VBXE core works and what have you. Shift to exit. Looks pretty good. There, we got anything else? The trouble with that demo is it doesn't reset the palette, which is why we now have a blue menu. Go back into the loader. A shame I don't have a repeaters in this machine, because there's something I've been working on I would like to show you, but I can't. Let's see, we've got Atari Blast, that's going to take too long. Bash loads quickly now. Test a basic program. There we go, basic, we'll list that. DOS. No, that's interesting. Why haven't you run the loader again? Interesting. So it basically works anyway. There's quite a bit of background squeal hiss coming from my mic now. What it's changed, it's probably because it was unplugged then plugged. Let's go back to the DVI input. Anyway, the machine works. How odd. So yeah, pokey was bad, and appears to be a small bug to take care of in the loader, because when I typed DOS there from BASIC it should have brought the loader back up, and then I went to the self-test, so we've got something else to do. I noticed this the other day. Yeah, I noticed the background hiss. I used to have a noise gate on this microphone, but one person hated it, so I took it off, and I don't know, he didn't like absolute silence when I wasn't talking. It didn't bother me particularly. I might put it back on, but I'll analyse the playback when I've done this anyway, and we'll see what can be done, if anything. So there we go. So it pretty much works now. At least we've figured out the pokey problem, and hopefully the other problem was just a gremlin, as we say. But I'd better test it a bit more tomorrow. Flex these cables while it's running and stuff like that. Because it would certainly crash. I've just bashed a key there, by the way, if you're wondering why it went berserk. But I can move these cables and absolutely nothing happens, so I'm inclined to think the cables are fine. Pokey's fine. VBXE's fine. It's absolutely solid now, and yet before it just didn't want to start up at all, so isn't that odd? How strange. But never mind. So I'll leave it at that for now, because I'm going to fix this tiny little bug while it's in my mind to do so. So yeah, yeah, we'll never forget this one in a hurry. So thanks for everybody for dropping in and watching and contributing to the chat, and we'll have the normal camera setup next time, because possibly tomorrow evening we'll be doing the super color card on the 400, and then we've got a dead XE, and we've got some other interesting things to look at after this one's gone. So thanks again, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, feel free to give it a like, and I will see you in the next video. So bye bye for now.